Hi, I'm Adam from Hubspoke Media, and we have just spent the last month working on a animated TV advert for Darlington College, which has been really exciting. We've just finished filming. Here's the exciting process of how we did it in just 1 month. Before we start creating our advert, we need to get our story agreed upon. We had a meeting with the marketing department at Darlington College who wanted to have an animated advert that looked a bit like the animated cooking videos made out of felt. They wanted to showcase the college's trips abroad in a fun and interesting way that's not been done before. Once we agreed on the locations and the story, it was time to draw out our storyboard. Storyboards don't have to be too pretty or detailed, as long as they convey the actions, camera movement and what is happening in each scene. After our storyboards were drawn up, we scanned them in and imported them into Premiere Pro. This allowed us to take each part of the storyboard and time it with stand-in voiceover, sounds and music, so we can get the timing of the advert before we even start to animate. This helps us understand how long each scene needs to be to fit into the 30-second window we have. So today I'm going to show you how we plan on making a stop motion puppet, making an armature, a basic plan and the materials we'll be using. So this is the basic character design that I've sketched up. We've decided to go on a design that is simple and doesn't sort of categorise one group of people so that anyone can relate to the character. The design I'll put up on the screen, it isn't just as basic as this, there are some elements to it. But this is all I need to work with to start making an armature. An armature for a stop motion puppet is like its skeleton. If you don't have it in there and you're trying to pose it, it'll just go all floppy and bendy and you won't be able to move it. A large part of stop motion is accuracy. So having the metal armature inside lets you pose it however you want, for as long as you want. So now I've got this, I'm going to use a Sharpie to draw out what my wire armature needs to do. So we're going to have one central bit of wire in the middle, which will go down like this, and it's going to split off into the two legs, like so. And the key thing I want to do is I want to make sure there's hoops at the end of these, because here I'm going to add magnets to the bottom so that when I want it standing up I can put a magnet under the table and it will be hooked down into the puppet. You can also do tie down rigs, but we're not going to do that because we just don't have the time to be drilling holes into a set. Then I'm going to get a second piece of armature wire across with loops for the hands as well. Don't need a magnet in this part, but it will just retain its shape a little bit better. I'm going to make sure that there's a loop at the top, and this is actually going to be twisted like that. This is so that it's even stronger. If I just use one bit of wire, it'll tend to snap, whereas if I twist it round, it'll be a bit stronger and a bit more durable. The advert's only 30 seconds long, but it'll be a lot of work. So we want to make sure this puppet is going to last for the duration of the shoot. We're going to be using two types of wire. This is going to be the main armature wire, which is going to go down the back, arms and legs, which I'll be twisting round itself to strengthen it. Then this thinner wire is going to go around the torso where the arms join, just so it makes sure it isn't sliding round. The whole puppet is based off this styrofoam ball, so this is the scale for the head. That can then be having the wire stuffed in the bottom, so it can go there. It will be able to move, but we won't need to, because the face elements are going to be two eyes, eyebrows, and they're going to be made out of black card. The brief for this animation was that it was going to use felt, so the puppet will have to be felted. I'm conscious though that you'll get a bubbling on it, because when you touch stuff like felt in stop motion, because you're handling it so much, you'll see it sort of boil. That's what it's called, boiling. So the face is going to have paper elements, eyes, so I won't have to move the head too much. When in movement, because it's going to be a lot of walking, you won't notice that boil on the arms and legs, but in the head, which is going to stay still most of the time, that's where you'll see it most. So I want to reduce that as much as I can. So now that I've planned out the armature and stuff, I need to figure out a way to pad it out, because if I just felt straight on top of that, it's going to be really skinny. So something I've tried before and it's worked really well is sponges. I'm going to cut this up to shape. I'm going to make sure I'm doing excess, so I'm going to put one on the front, one on the back, and then I'm going to cut one in half for the arms and legs, trim it down to the shape I want, make sure it's sewn or glued on, and then I can start felting on top of that. Hopefully it'll come out really well. I say hopefully, it definitely will. It's going to be a really fun process, so yeah, join me soon with hopefully me working on the armature and the finished armature very soon. So fast forward a little bit and we have done the wire armature, which is inside this little puppet here. It looks very unrecognisable, the wire armature is there. It's got its twisted wire all the way through his core. I've then used styrofoam balls, so that's going to be for the torso. There's also one for the head, which we've already talked about before. And I've started padding out the body. If you see there, it's just a bit of sponge and it's sewn together. I've trimmed it down so that it fits the body a bit better. Same for the legs. And then we have got felt just for the outer casing of it. It's basically like flesh, if you like. And that's just going to keep everything in so it's nice and tidy and there's no wires showing at all. The next step for me after I've sewn all this together is to get a load of felt and start needle felting so it looks a bit softer, getting rid of all these blue lines. Right, we have done that step now, so he's got his little jacket on, if you like, all in one sit, and he's all sewn up. As you can see, I've already started on his head. So, this is made with felt. It's like a wool type sort of thing, so this is it here. It's really thin, you can tear it off quite easy, and what you need to do is, you need to use felting needles. So what we do is, and it's really, really horrible to witness, if you thought this was some sort of voodoo doll. And all you do is that, and it pats down all of the fibres together and it makes it a nice round shape, which is cool. So I'm going to do that on the whole body, and we'll come back when I've done that. So now that we have the armature done, we've padded out the puppet as well. It is now finally done. We have our teeny tiny DC. That's what we've decided to call this little guy. There is his felted head. He has little bits of card for his eyes. That's so it's easy to remove when he wants to blink. He's got a little jumper that we've added on, and we've gone for the sort of little tiny stitches being visible to mimic the little pips you see on the Darton College logo. Purposefully there's no colour on there so it stands out a bit better against all the vibrant backgrounds. I also want to make a little bag for him, like a little rucksack, so we'll see how that goes. That's going to use more of the green and blue colours. But he works fine, all the armature's great in there, and he's even got his little rig at the back which has got a magnet in so that he can stand up on the set. We purposefully decided to create the felt assets individually to then scan and use in After Effects. This meant that we had more control over the colours, shapes and size for the final advert. Even though all of these assets were going to be digitised later in Photoshop and then put into After Effects, they were all handmade using felt, stitching and just general creativity. Out of all of the props that we made, I think my favourite one by far is the tiny miniature plane we made. This can be seen at the very start of the advert in the background taking off away from the airport. I loved it to bits, and it's even got the Darton College colours on the tail of the plane at the back. So now that we've made all of our little props for the sets out of felt and card, it is now time to scan those images into Photoshop so that I can manipulate them just a little bit. If there's any pen marks, if there's any felt that needs covering that shouldn't be there, any colours that have mixed up, just so that it looks perfect for the final film. So we have now started filming the college advert with our little stop motion guy we've named DC for Darton College. Here it is, here is our stop motion studio. So we've put together a green screen for the background. We also have a massive green screen behind, however we need it to be on a smaller scale for our smaller actor. We have a Sony camera ready to go, which is going to film the whole advert for us. This plugs into our computer where we are running Dragon Frame 4, which is a stop motion program that allows you to see every frame to get the smoothest possible animation. We have 3 lights being set up there. We have a light at the top which is going to balance out the green screen in the background, and 2 lights to light our subject. We are about to go into a shoot with our little character, and in the scene he is walking into the shot. There's a space invader flying over his head, and he needs to look in the direction he's walking and then walk off. There's a lot of stuff going on, it's about 5 seconds that'll be. To help me with this shot, what I've decided to do is record some LAV, which stands for live action video. So I've got my phone over here. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, I've just filmed it on there, and I've reenacted basically the sequence that I want the puppet to go through. This helps me see how the body would move in that situation. You're almost acting for the puppet, so it's got something to reference, and I can use that on the side of the screen so that I can just reference it here and there. A lot of studios do this, such as Aardman, Leica, and they'll often do this for the whole film, so there will be a clip somewhere of the entire film with people just acting it out with the voice actors' dialogue over the top. So now that we have made our puppet, we have built a stop motion animation set, we have filmed it on 24 frames per second, it is now time to do the finishing touches before we put it into a project with a background and music and sound and all that good stuff. When we filmed, we used a rig to keep the puppet held up. There's magnets in the floor, but that doesn't quite do it. So we use a small rig made out of aluminium wire and a small magnet. This ensures that the puppet stays upright for us. Of course, we don't want to have that in the final advert, so what happens is we explore every single frame we've taken and we go through and remove that rig. So here you can see the still. So this is a frame, one frame. We film in 24 frames a second, so we'll make 24 images and that will play for 1 second. Here is the rig I'm on about. This is the metal piece that we've got there. You can also see in his hand there's a needle, and that's because there's no way for the puppet to hold onto this suitcase to keep it in the same place. So we put a needle through it just like that. So I want to get rid of this very small needle. It probably doesn't even pick up on the camera really. And I also want to get rid of this. So once that's done, I use the clone stamp tool, and then boop, there it is, it's gone. As you can see, this is gone, and you won't notice it, but the needle has in fact disappeared. So now I've done that for one frame, I now need to do that for I think another 70 frames, and that's just for one sequence. So it's a very long process, but it will all be worth it in the end when we see this little guy moving through an airport. This is the last day of filming for the Darton College advert. It's very sad. We have 2 shots to do today. We have a reshoot for the Malta scene because he's got tiny little glasses on now. And I wasn't too happy with the walk, so we're reshooting that. And then we shot at Darlington College yesterday with the students for the end scene, so they're actually in the TV ad already. I've composited them in, but I need the bit where DC is going to be walking into the college with them. So yeah, it's kind of weird wrapping up on it. We've got about a week and a half. Everything's in the timeline. In terms of what we've got, it's edited together. We've got the voiceover as well from Dan Pye, the amazing Dan Pye. So it's all coming together. It's really weird. Join me when I finish this and I'm editing it over there. Bye. Something that we were really keen to do with this animation is to mix media a little bit. So it is stop motion and it does use practical elements in there that have all been handmade, but we wanted to digitize it a little bit so it's easier on the edit. This also allows us to do a lot more things in the space we've been given, which is realistically a tiny green screen. To do this, what we've done is we've photographed all the elements we want to use and then we've put it into After Effects into a 3D stage. So it's kind of like a stop motion stage, but digital. I'll show you what I mean. So as you can see, we've got little DC walking Cambodia here. This is in After Effects. After Effects relies on layers, so all of these assets down here, we've got the warp cycle, we've got blue cones, we've got a football banner, a spaceship in the background, all of those elements you can see in here. Now, we've got 2 setups. We've got the final active camera, and we've also got a top-down view. And if we zoom in on the top-down view here, and we play through, you can start seeing some of the elements moving. So that there is the camera, those red lines is the active camera moving across. And if we come over here, you can see the camera's moving along with DC, which is really cool. And then if I change this view over to, and as you can see up here, these small lines at the top, these are all actual elements. So if I click on here and I move across a little bit, you will see that it's starting to move with it, which is really cool. We are now in the final edit of the Darton College advert, which is really exciting. It's been checked through by Adam just for some last minute things. He's got so much experience in terms of audio, video and editing, so it's good to hear some feedback from him. He said that the music needs bumping up a little bit. When we did the animatic, the audios were perfect there, but something's happened, so we just need to bump that up. He's also said there's a little halo around DC's head in the Cambodia scene, so what I've done is gone back into After Effects and added a shrink to the green screen layer in Keylight. That sorted it out basically. I was worried that the key on his legs would start acting up a bit, so parts of his legs would disappear, but it's absolutely fine. So he now doesn't have that sort of grey halo around his head. Some other things I still need to do is I need to colour correct DC in the last scene. It needs to match up with the live action actors who are walking towards the college, which shouldn't be too hard to do. I just need to look at the exposure and potentially look at the colours as well, because I think if I change the exposure it'll look more orange, so I need to start messing with the blues, and then hopefully we'll have a finished advert, which is really exciting, really cool. That's a month of hard work, graft and dedication, to put it lightly. So the day has finally come. This is the day we are showing off the Darton College advert to Darton College themselves. How are we feeling, Adam?
I'm scared.
I'm very nervous. This is the first time I've had this issue of feelings inside my body, but Adam's done this a couple of times, so it's going to be fine.
Absolutely fine. It looks amazing.
Yay! So we've got the room ready. They're going to sit down. They're going to watch it on the big telly like that. I'm so excited. I can't wait. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Or even gaining industry qualifications in Thailand. With multiple experiences on offer every year, you just learn it. You live it. Darton College, where learning comes to life.
That was it. Darton College have come in. They are happy, which is great. Smiles on their faces as soon as they saw it. And little DC has done such a good job of his TV debut. We were just chatting about ways we could explore the character, reuse it in different things, but that would be a different video, I think. So yeah, I feel so much better. I'm not stressed anymore, and it's kind of sad because it's come to the end of this really awesome journey, creating a TV advert. And that's it. That is how we made a TV advert that's going to go on Sky TV for Darton College in just 1 month, using what I'd say pretty basic equipment. This sort of stuff, except the software, obviously you could do at home quite easily. All of the kit we got was from Hobbycraft, but obviously you can use wherever you want. You can order bits online, and it's not the most expensive stuff in the world, so if you want to give it a go, give it a go. I really do encourage you. I think a lot of people think of stop motion animation as being that hobby you sort of grow up with. Everyone's had some sort of experience with it at some point, whether that is in school projects, whether that's model making as a kid, or whether that's making silly cartoons with little stick figure software back in school. Definitely check it out if you can. There's so many free apps. I'll put some on the screen now, so go home and give it a go. If you have any questions that you want to ask me about animation and getting started, leave them in the comments. I love animation so much, and it's brought me so much joy, and hopefully people who watch this advert so much joy as well. Bit of a shameless plug, but we want to do more of this sort of stuff, so if you're a business that thinks you could benefit from having an animated advert, it doesn't have to be stop motion. We do traditionally drawn, 2D, vector animation, all of that good stuff. Give us a shout. We'd love to hear your exciting idea and how we can bring it to life. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment what videos you want to see in the future. Any more behind the scenes stuff, let us know. As for me, I've been Adam from Hubspoke Media, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.